so that we can make it accessible for everyone. So if you'd like to access this meeting later, it'll be uploaded on the Arch YouTube page, or if you want to share it with someone else, it'll be there. A special note that we won't admit AI companions into this meeting. We do record meetings, and as a matter of course, we'd like to have the opportunity to redact if necessary to protect confidentiality. So I do anticipate that it'll probably be a somewhat brief meeting. We wanted to get back to our monthly meetings. It had been several months since we've had one. We do not have a guest speaker, but many things are unsettled, and so we wanted to make sure that there was time for everyone to share. Next month, we'll be back with guest speaker Dr. Amy Fontenot of the Lafayette Parish School System's Homeless Education Services. I know that she joined us last year, and many of you really enjoyed that her sharing, and she will be again offering the latest data and other important information. And then later in the spring, we'll have Tanya Thompson with the Alexandria VA healthcare system, under whose umbrella Acadiana falls for veteran homelessness services. So today, though, we're offering this time for updates. And so from an arch perspective, um, our continuum of care did well, we submitted our annual NOFO in late August, and we received word in January of our fiscal year 2024 COC awards. So it's awarded, we apply in 2024, so that's why it's referred to that way, as fiscal year 2024 COC awards. The awards announcement indicated that our renewal projects were all fully funded, along with additional funds to address homelessness as a result of domestic violence. However, there's been no resolution on the fiscal year 2025 spending bill, and there is a great risk of funding being dramatically cut. So although those awards were announced in January, that money has not been voted on and needs to be voted on by March. We ask that you contact your members of Congress to request a final fiscal year 2025 spending bill with increased funding for HUD's vital affordable housing and homelessness assistance programs. I'm going to be dropping two links in the chat, which will help. The first one's a quick form. I've shared them before. You put your name in there. If you're able to speak on behalf of your organization, you can enter your organization's name, but it can be just you. It can be just from you personally. And it's very much, follow the directions and press send. And then so that's that link. I'm also going to be sharing with you a toolkit in the event that you'd like to learn more. It's about investments in affordable housing. Let me copy this and drop this in the chat. There you go. Both of them really helpful. But again, please, if you feel so inclined, please reach out to your Congress people. And please know that I've heard repeatedly over the past couple of days that the number of calls that they received when the federal funding freeze occurred in January was a stark reminder to Congress that they do indeed work for us. So I know one congressman in particular recounted that he usually gets somewhere between 17 and 30 calls a day, and he received over 980 calls that day. They were just absolutely swamped. But that is the kind of advocacy that we're going to need. And it really starts. I know sometimes you think, oh, someone else is doing that, but really in this moment, it has to be us. Next, the U.S. House Financial Services Committee on Housing and Insurance will hold a hearing called Building Our Future, Increasing Housing Supply in America on March 4th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's 1 p.m. our time. Further information, including a witness list and a link to watch the hearing, are not yet available, but go ahead and put it on your calendar. I think it'll be really interesting. And additional information I will get out to you as we are as it's disseminated. Um, Please also note that there are a number of filed lawsuits um, that are regarding housing, civil rights, protecting immigrant households that will directly affect Arch and our continuum of care. And I don't want this meeting to feel like, you're in a doom scrolling virtual session. But please know that although we live in an area of the country that often feels like a safe cocoon, our housing, our homeless service providers, our neighbors experiencing homelessness, our veterans, our people who are fleeing domestic violence, and so many others will feel the effects of these firings and funding cuts. Um, However, our COC is committed to doing the work. We're meeting internally to share information, to create strategies to weather these massive changes. If you would like to know more or learn about more advocacy opportunities, please reach out to me by email. That's elsa@archacadiana.org. It's the same email address that sent you this invite. So please, anytime that you feel so inclined and you want to jump in, we always need another voice. You always know people that we may not know. You may have an interest in a subpopulation that's particular. So, although right now, we're hearing about HUD cuts, and I know that we're really focused on veteran affairs, really cuts to most departments will somehow affect housing and homelessness because of the number of subpopulations with whom we work, because we work in weatherization of housing, because there's so many intersections of housing and homelessness with so many other departments, governmental departments. So if you're so inclined, please reach out. On that note, go ahead and put May 1st on your calendars now, if you don't mind putting a tentative hold. We're going to be co-hosting the first Louisiana Homelessness and Housing Justice Action Day at the state capitol from 1:30 to 3:30 in partnership with Unity of Greater New Orleans and the Louisiana Advocacy Coalition on Homelessness. This is incredibly new news. We just this morning got the permit, and we weren't sure if that date was available. So if any of you all are like, huh, this is the first I'm hearing of it, it's because it's the first that any of us are hearing about it as a solid date. So similarly to other action days that you may have been involved in, we're doing a homelessness and housing action day. And so again, that's May 1st from 1:30 to 3:30. There's no more information yet, but if you could put a tentative hold, that would be great. We're going to be coordinating carpooling so that everybody doesn't have to drive their cars, or maybe you're not comfortable driving, or maybe you're a one-car family. But because we need as many voices there as possible. And that'll be coordinated with our local state legislature. We've had 3 freeze events for which we've opened warming shelters since January 1st. Luckily, we had been meeting for several months prior with LCG at the helm to create a process by which warming and cooling shelters would follow. And the first freeze brought 79 unique individuals to the shelter. I say unique not in the sense that we're all unique, but in that some people leave and they come back, and so we don't count them twice. So that's what I mean when I say 79 unique individuals. The second, which was the blizzard, brought 117 unique individuals, and the third brought 81. This was in addition, of course, to our regularly running shelters that were all at full capacity. COC funded agencies were able to provide shelter coordination, outreach, shelter supplies, and case management 24 hours a day during the events. Really proud of the collaboration between so many agencies, homeless service providers, our local administration and LCG staff, Second Harvest, Love Acadiana, Goodwill. I mean, the list just goes on and on. And this is an example of how it's supposed to work. And I'm really excited about future collaborations. So thank you to everyone, even if your participation was dropping off pillows at Art Share House, or you let somebody know on the street or someone that you knew who their home wasn't adequately warm for this, that we existed. Every single person played a role, and I really, really appreciate it. And we were able to make contact with people who were not necessarily on our radar. So of the 79, 117, and 81, some were repeats, but many weren't. Many were new faces each time. So we got to do some case management. We were able to have some of those early conversations. We were able to gather their contact information, and so it was incredibly helpful on not just the immediate rapid response level, but from a systemic perspective as well. At the end of January, we had our annual pit count. And despite several COC, vital COC staff members who were out with the flu and other illnesses, we were able to complete the count. And it's now at Catholic Charities with their data staff who is readying the information for submission to HUD. So it is a process, but thank you to everybody who volunteered. Thank you to everyone who got out there and went above and beyond. We all pitched in, and it was a successful pit count. Um, Thank you, Diane. We're going to go ahead and keep letting people know about how people can plug in both at the warming shelters, which I think soon will flip to being cooling shelters. But thank you so much. On that note, Share House, I know Rachel is on this call and she will add if necessary or correct me, but I know that we need mattresses and we also need new pillows. We depleted quite a bit of our pillow stock in order to provide pillows for the shelter. So right now, the two, I think, primary needs, but again, Rachel, correct me if I'm wrong, are mattresses and box springs and new pillows. So if you're able or you're ready to get a new mattress or your pillows aren't doing it for you, when you go pick up a couple of the less expensive pillows and drop them off at Share House. Share House is open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 10 to 3 behind the Arch offices at 211 Gilboa. There's a loading bay on Sycamore because we're right on the corner of Sycamore and Gilboa. So I know that I see Nikki on the call from 232 Help, and they always ground us in our information. So Nikki, if you are able, you want to offer your information.
Sorry, I
No.
haven't done a Zoom call in a minute. We've been on Teams and it's backwards.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find the unmute button. Um, okay, I didn't run these numbers. They were given to me. And we've also had some shifting staff-wise here at 232. So I believe these numbers are from January 1st till February 21st. We've had a total of 644 reach out to reach out to 232 Help for they are experiencing homelessness. They're looking for housing, the warming center, a shelter, coordinated entry, domestic violence, and are seeking motel vouchers. COVID really did a number on that motel voucher thing.
Yeah.
People still want those. And then there were a handful that were looking for assistance with eviction prevention. Um, I can break down those numbers for y'all if y'all want, or I can drop them in the chat if everybody like.
I think dropping them in the chat would be great. That way we can cut and paste and have that data, if you don't mind.
Sure. Um, so yeah, we it this homeless issue is just growing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we thank you for being, one of our frontline partners and directing people to the most appropriate resource. I know that it's hard, because I know that some of your job is telling people that resources that they need are not available. So,
Oh,
thank you
yeah.
so much for the work that you all do.
Well, thank y'all for being a partner.
And so keep your eye on the chat. Nikki's going to drop that data. So at this point, I want to open this up to anyone else who would like to offer any agency or community updates. Are you starting any new programs or hosting any events? Or have you attended any trainings or know of any advocacy opportunities? Do you have any staff or board announcements or opportunities? Are you looking for any board members or new staff? Or do you just have some questions or a challenge that you think maybe this group would be able to help with? Or any fundraising events? Do you have any fun events coming up? I know Faith House always has something good going on. So anyway, take yourself off of mute and go ahead and share out.
Okay, I can go first. I'm Rebecca McMillan, Housing Director for Faith House. We have a few things in the works. Right now, I'm working really hard on climate controlled kennels. We have some existing outdoor kennels that are in really bad shape. The kennels themselves are okay, but just the area around it, and it's a little embarrassing to bring people when they present with a pet back there and that be the pet space. So I'm working with a couple of different builders, gotten a few recommendations from Acadiana Animal Aid. So if anybody has any suggestions, this is something I'm applying for several grants. This is something we're hoping to get done this year, done within a year. But I have talked to a couple of different builders and kind of getting some plans of what I want. That way, if I don't get the grants, we can do a capital campaign and try to raise the money for the new kennels because this is something we really, really need. A lot of people do flee domestic violence with their pets, and like I said, it's just we don't have a good space for cats. The new place would have a cat room, so we're just looking really forward to that. We got the DV bonus project, so we've been working hard on studying it, getting ready. That'll start in July, so we're just kind of getting everything ready and started. And then the Mansura shelter we're working really heavily on right now. It'll open in April, and I think it's one wing, so probably about 10 family rooms, and I don't know how many singles we'll be able to take starting in April. So those are pretty much the main things that we have going on right now. Um, so, like I said, if anybody has any suggestions, especially for the kennels, please just shoot me an email or reach out to me here at the shelter. So that's it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rebecca. And listen, always let us know if there are advocacy opportunities. I know that the landscape is kind of shifting under our feet a little bit. And so if there's anything that we can lend voice to, even if it's adjacent to housing and homelessness, please don't
Okay,
hesitate to let us know.
we will. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, who's up next?
I'll go. This is
Thanks,
Colleen
Colleen.
Dorito with Catholic Charities of Acadiana. The St. Joseph Shelter is staying full. Constant, constantly at capacity and very busy. We are hiring a case manager for St. Joseph Shelter, also a PSH supervisor and a St. Joseph Shelter director. Those opportunities can be found on our website. So if anybody's interested, please go and fill that out. Or if you know someone who is. We're trying to find people for the supervisor positions with some mental health background. Things that we need, we are looking to be, as Elsa had mentioned, the warming shelter. We were very involved in that as well, particularly when it closed. Having everybody come back to our campus. We handed out a lot of sleeping bags, a lot of t-shirts, snacks, flip-flops, things like that, shoes, all of those things we need to replenish. So, if anybody has any access to those things, of course, for clothing items, we only accept new things and only like t-shirts, shorts, or sweatpants, things that are easy to hand out. Sweatshirts, we depleted that. Our sleeping bags, that supply got really low. And snacks are always something that we like to keep on hand. Um, in terms of changes, I'll let you guys know when these things do take effect, but we're looking to sort of make some changes to the Monsignor Segura Center in that we're going to go to appointments, so we can really sit down with the person and discuss their whole situation and find out extra ways that we can help. Perhaps they may qualify for some programs that they're not aware of, and so we really want to be able to work with them on that. We're going to be transitioning to that, hopefully, a full transition by April 1st. But that's just some things that are in the works, changes that we feel are positive and we're trying to make across all programs.
Colleen, the diner, are you
Mhm.
short on volunteers, and can you tell us the current hours?
So the current hours are we can always use volunteers. That's
Okay.
always the situation. Our current hours is 7:30 to 4 is when we close the diner. So we allow people to stay in there during those times. And I'm really glad you brought up the diner because right now we do not have a security guard for March 1st through the 4th. So we will be having to serve out of the diner door, serve to go meals because it's imperative that we have a security guard in that area, with volunteers, children, and things like that. Especially during that time, kids will be out of school and that sort of thing. So we still welcome the volunteers. We just won't be able to serve in the diner during that time. So bottled water is going to definitely need a going to be a need that we have as well.
Okay. There was a question in the chat from Belle. Do you have links to purchase needed supplies that you get directly delivered to you all, like your Amazon
There
wish
should
list?
be an Amazon link online. I will definitely ask for them to double check it to make sure it has the needs that we need to replenish. But I'm almost positive it would.
Okay, and Colleen, if you can give me a heads up that it is updated, and then I'll put it in the e-blast that I send back out.
That would
Okay.
be fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay, cool. And listen, I just want to also give a special shout out to Finesse and to Matthew. They worked insane hours during the warming shelter, staying overnight, sometimes days at a
Particularly with
time.
the snow, yes,
Yes.
they stayed for almost 4 days around the clock,
Yes,
without a
and
break.
really like with unwavering commitment to the work that they were doing. It was just absolutely breathtaking. So thank you to both of them. Okay, cool. Yep, I think I wrote that all down and I'll be able to repeat that back out in the e-blast. So thanks, Colleen.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any updates?
Quick update from Habitat. We are currently in the negotiation process for a Healthy Homes Production grant from HUD, assuming that things continue to move forward and no more major upheavals take place there. This was from last year's funding cycle, and it'll enable us to do 75 critical repairs to owner-occupied homes on the north side. So we'll be staying in the neighborhoods where we've been focused, and we'll have more information coming out about that as the funds become available and we kick off the program. But that'll be probably later this year. And there's a lot of homes out there who need assistance. So we're looking forward to getting started with that. We'll be hiring a couple of positions for that particular program, a program manager and a program coordinator. It's a very outreach heavy approach. So we're going to be going out into the community and connecting directly with people, at the block level that we think might be able to qualify and need this assistance. So the coordinator position is going to be doing a lot of that and processing applications. And then the manager is more of the person who would be doing at home assessments and managing managing subcontractors and the construction-y side of things. So if you know of anybody who might be interested, please let me know. And we'll be advertising those probably as soon as the negotiation process is finished up. So that's some of the big news from here. Also, I'm just going to mention, I heard yesterday about, and you may have already mentioned this, Elsa, I'm sorry if you did because I was late, but tomorrow afternoon at 3, there is an announcement regarding a housing program that is going to be, I think, taking place in the Bayberry Point subdivision, which I received basically an announcement from Gerald Boudreau about this. It's going to be at Destiny of Faith Church at 3 o'clock, and I'm assuming that they're going to go over all the ins and outs of what they're proposing, but it looks like it's going to be rent to homeownership. So maybe a homeownership incubator type situation. They characterized it as, I think, supportive housing in the document they sent out, but I don't think it's supportive in the sense that we might think of supportive. It's more getting somebody who's a tenant ready to purchase the home at some point. But I guess more about that tomorrow afternoon. So
Yeah,
anybody
thank you
who
for
wants,
that. I completely forgot.
yeah,
So thanks.
Destiny of Faith.
Also, I wanted to say, because I see a bunch of people, and I was terrified of thanking people individually about the warming shelter because I would inevitably forget someone. But I do see Elena on the call. I see Jennifer on the call. I see Belle on the call, whose team was so helpful, teams. And so I just want to make sure that I explicitly thank you all for the work that you did, sometimes outside of the lane that you normally are, and it took a village. So thank you for that. And thanks, Melinda, for that update. I think I got most of that down, but I may have to circle back with you. Um, and fingers crossed on healthy homes. Um, all right, who else has an update that they'd like to share?
Hello, this is Alton at Acadiana Cares. The biggest and major thing that we had at Cares in the last few months is the relocation or the additional service of our clinic services at the corner of Pierce and Willow. We did most of the move in December, so this is our second month in. How does this affect our clients that deal with housing? A lot of our clients don't have access to good, decent health care, and that they can access pretty quickly. Right now, we're working on either same day or next day services if somebody comes in with something. There's also, while Medicaid is still available, assistance to apply for Medicaid at their offices through the navigators. We actually just start a major advertising campaign. So you may see our faces on billboards, different commercials, streaming services of that nature. So if you have someone who's looking for physical health services, medical services, mental health services, they can contact us. What I'll do is I'll put the direct phone number to the clinic in the chat, and then they can call and try to make an appointment at that point.
Thank you, Alton. What an incredible resource. Um, anyone else have any updates? While you gather your thoughts, I have two that I want to share. One is if you are a faith leader, or whether you're clergy, lay, or otherwise, or you have a faith-based mission, and you would like to be part of the Downtown Faith Alliance, please also shoot me an email at elsa@archacadiana.org, and I will connect you with the acting chair. They are in the process of some strategic planning and building it out again post COVID, and so would love your involvement. So again, just drop me an email if that's something that you would like to be involved in. It meets once a month, unless you serve on a committee, in which case you would meet additionally. Um, Also, to get on your radar, Clinton Street Pantry, which is run by an individual, Nancy Brennan. It's on Clinton Street. She runs it out of her front yard, but it is very much a place that is a resource for many of our um, unhoused or unstably housed neighbors. And so if you have additional snacks, additional socks, additional small items that you would like to donate, you can leave it on her screened in front porch. She has cameras everywhere, so I know that that might feel weird because it's someone's home, but she leaves it in her, and she then puts it into her pantry um, as is needed. So she keeps it inside and then replenishes the pantry each day. So again, that's Clinton Street Pantry. I think it's one house in from Johnston Street. All right, any other updates?
So I'm gonna throw this out there. 232 Help is looking for additional call center staff that could be anywhere from full-time, part-time, or as needed. And they can email me their resume. I'll drop my email in the chat.
Okay, great. And Nikki, is this in person or do you take the phone home like in the old days or how?
Um, Mostly in person. We do offer remote um, ability. It's kind of an individual situation. If
Gotcha.
they're local, we prefer them in the office, and especially in the beginning, we would prefer them kind of ability to be in the office. So so we can do all the training.
Okay, and Nikki Bell is asking if the position has any special necessary qualifications,
A
degree, prior
willingness,
experience.
no. Um, nope. We will train. It's just a willingness to learn and to help other people.
Thank you so much. Such a vital role. So please help get the word out. It might be a perfect position um, for someone you know. All right. Any other updates at this time? And Nikki did drop her email in the chat. All right. Well, a reminder that next month we will have Dr. Amy Fontenot who's on the call from LPSS Homeless Education Services, who will be sharing with us latest data and their process, a review of their process. And so please remember to join. And thank you. I see some new faces today. Really excited to have you here. Quarterly, just so you know, quarterly we do these sorts of just general update meetings, particularly if it's been a couple of months since we've had a meeting. And then the remainder of the meetings, we do some quick updates, but for the most part, it's a speaker or a conversation that we have with one individual who has some specific expertise. So thank you so much as always, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. If you need anything in the meantime, please reach out, Elsa at archacadiana.org. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.